Old games are impossible. In the 80s, gaming just started to take off, but due to insane prices, these games needed to last. So developers got a great idea. What if we just made the games complete bullshit? Back in the day, games would do anything to make them last longer. The first Zelda is known for being unfair by not giving players the information they need to beat the game. Except people back then had a manual to guide them. But what if they didn't? So I set out to see, can you beat the first Zelda game completely blind? There was nothing left to do but to start playing. Going into this challenge, my ambitious goal was to beat the entire game, but I also had a list of smaller goals throughout my playthrough. After grabbing the sword from the old man, I had no idea what I was supposed to do. I had a simple plan. I'm gonna go in every direction as far as I can. Surely I'll find something eventually. But I instantly ran into an issue. This game's kind of hard, not just the lack of information, but also the mechanics themselves. The enemies are just super sporadic, and your sword is super small. Combine that with the fact that you start with only 3 hearts, and every time you die, you go all the way back to the beginning. And trust me, it gets a lot more annoying later. This is just the beginning. After struggling my way through the map, I finally find something. Whoa! Wait a minute. I enter the dungeon, and in the top left corner it says level 5? So not only are the dungeons and temples called levels, but this is also supposedly the 5th one. After seeing that it says level 5, I make the assumption that this is pretty much the last temple in the game. Compared to other installments in the franchise, Majora's Mask has 4 dungeons, and generally speaking, most games have 7. In my mind, this is the first installment on an old console, so surely 5 is kind of the limit. Despite it being the 5th temple in the game, I still tried to beat it. In a lot of old games, it's actually very possible to skip progression. For example, in Pokemon Red and Blue, after you beat the 2nd gym in the game, you can actually go all the way to the 6th gym without beating any of the other ones. But it became abundantly clear that this dungeon was not beatable. It was clear I didn't have the items I needed, and also all of the enemies dealt 2 hearts of damage. After messing around for a little bit, I decided to give up. I decided to return to a suspicious looking bridge that I'd passed on my way to level 5. Oh. Level 1! Alright, now I'm actually starting to get some progress. This dungeon taught me a very important lesson. I found the bow tucked away in the top left corner, and I found the boomerang by killing an optional enemy. It became clear that if I wanted to beat this game, I'd need to check every nook and cranny, clear every room, kill every enemy, and try to push every single block I saw. I eventually fight the boss, and it was so easy I assumed it was just a mini boss, but it turns out I'd beaten the dungeon. In my mind, I had just beaten a 5th of the game. Let's go. 1 dungeon down, 4 to go. My spirits were high, so I just kept exploring. I wasn't able to find much in the southeast corner of the map, but in the southwest corner, I actually did find something. An old lady who told me she would give me information in exchange for money. Now, at this point, I'm kind of broke, so obviously I'm gonna choose the lowest option. Okay, well, that didn't work, so I guess I'll give her the most. Okay, the truth is I got scammed. After saving up some rupees, I was actually able to buy the candle. In the top right corner of the map, I was actually able to find a tall mountain. I thought I had actually found another piece of progression, a way to get information. I'd recalled seeing an old lady who wouldn't say anything to me. So I brought the letter to her, and it was just to unlock potions. This greatly disappoints me. I was disappointed that it didn't lead me to any true progression, but you'll see later, these potions are vital to the playthrough. I continued to explore and... Wait, no, rewind that. Okay, I won't lie, this is not a good look, but I can explain it. Growing up, I watched a lot of Zelda content, and my favorite YouTuber was Peanut Butter Gamer. I remember in one of his videos showcasing how bullshit this game was by showing this secret. I knew that somewhere in this game near water, there was a tree that you could burn down to get a heart container, and I happened to find it. But trust me, I'll make it up later. It doesn't really impact the rest of the game. Throughout the first day, I'd kind of become obsessed with this green dock. I knew that there just had to be some sort of secret tied to it, but I couldn't figure it out. So to wrap up the day, I spent 10 minutes just trying to kill this one fish, and it ended up giving me nothing. Coming out of the first day, I felt great. All things considered, I found 2 dungeons, beat one of them, had a ton of items, and a decent amount of direction. I was honestly looking forward to day 2. Going into day 2, I was confident and excited to play. There was just something that was so fun about playing blind. Every small accomplishment felt like a massive win, and I just didn't know what was going to happen next. I started off by just exploring and then buying this massive chunk of meat in a hidden store. I tried testing it out and it doesn't really seem to do anything. Apparently it actually does distract enemies, but it doesn't. At this point, I just felt lost. I felt like I'd seen pretty much the whole map, and I kind of was just running in circles, trying to blow up random walls or burn random trees, but nothing was working. But then I was in this forest and there was a path that was just blocked by a tree, which did not look like it could be right. So I tried to burn it down, and then...
What the actual fuck, bro? Level 8?
I started questioning everything. Just a little bit ago, I thought I had beaten 20% of the game, and in reality, I just scratched the surface. I started doubting myself. Is this really realistic? I've only found 3 dungeons. I thought I've cleared pretty much the whole map. I don't even know where to start to find the next ones. But I wasn't just gonna give up. I knew that if I just kept persevering, I'd have to find something. There'd have to be some sort of clue to get me closer to beating the game. I just kept exploring, and I actually found a part of the forest that didn't look familiar. As I moved through it, I saw a tall staircase and my eyes lit up. Could this be what I need? And after entering the cave... Oh, yes. Level 2. Following the same protocol as last time, I clear every room in the dungeon. Despite clearing every room, there wasn't much to find, but I did notice something. When I entered the dungeon, I had just around 100 rupees, and when I left, I had over 160. I'd identified this as a pretty good spot to make some cash. I struggled with the boss a little bit. I used every item I could, and eventually I found out that I just needed to feed it bombs. Overall, it was pretty easy and 2 temples down. I definitely felt like I'd gained a little bit of momentum, but in the back of my mind, I was still thinking about how there's 8 dungeons in the game at least. I decided to use this as a good opportunity to farm some cash so I could buy that extremely expensive item from the secret shop. Upon purchase, it changed my tunic color. In other Zelda games, that usually lets you either swim underwater or resist fire, but I didn't expect that to be the case in this game. After a little bit of testing, I think it makes it so I take less damage. I continued to wander around the map, hoping I would be able to find something, and I actually found an upgraded sword. Now with more health, a better tunic, and a better weapon, I decided to go back to level 5 to see if I could get a little bit further. It was a struggle, but I eventually did, and I actually got an item. It was the flute, and after leaving the dungeon, I tested it out. Oh, what the f***? Initially, I thought that this was maybe a way to get over gaps, but it turns out it's just a way to fast travel from dungeon to dungeon. It became clear I wasn't going to be able to make any more progress in level 5, so I decided to just leave and keep looking for something else. And at this point, I was feeling pretty demoralized. I couldn't figure out what I hadn't seen yet, and I couldn't find anything to help me. It got so bad that I got desperate. and I went back to the lady who scammed me. I gave her 10 rupees. She didn't tell me anything. I gave her 50. She didn't tell me anything. But I didn't give her 30. And when I gave her 30, she gave me vital information. I was ecstatic. I returned to a forest I had found earlier that just continued to repeat. And with the new directions I've been given, I unlocked a new part of the map. This was it. This was the piece I'd been missing the whole time. The enemies here were way harder. So I ran past all of them, got through the graveyard, and I found another dungeon. And it was level 6. Heartbreak. I thought that this was what I needed, but it wasn't. I wasn't able to beat the 6th dungeon. I didn't have the things I needed, and it didn't get me closer to finding level 3. And as I wrapped up day 2, I felt demoralized. Day 3 was a new day, but I definitely wasn't as optimistic as any of the other days. I didn't really have anything else to do other than wander, so that's what I did. Early on in the game, I was given a hint to find an old man in the graveyard. So after exploring the graveyard, I did find the old man, and he possessed a powerful sword. Or at least I think it's powerful. I actually can't pick it up yet, but it's there. I then proceed to kind of just go back and forth between level 6 and level 5. Hoping that magically something will change and I'll be able to beat them, but I don't really have any luck. At this point, I've literally been playing for hours without any progress. Sure, I've maybe found a new dungeon or gotten a new item, but nothing that actually makes it so I can get further in the game. I start trying to think about it critically rather than just aimlessly wandering around. In the top right corner, there's level 5. In the middle right-ish part of the map, there's level 2, level 1, and level 8. In the top left corner, there's level 6. So maybe I missed something in the bottom left. As I return to this part of the map, I'm not really expecting to see anything. In my mind, I've pretty much cleared all of this section already. But then I come across a way that I don't think I've actually taken yet. Instead of going left to the old woman, what if I went right? Are we Is this actually a joke? Dude. Oh my god, am I just like the biggest idiot of all time? After walking in circles around level 3 for so long, I think it's safe to say I failed my goal to not look like an idiot. This dungeon changed everything. With the same protocol as before, I'm clearing every room, trying to find any secrets, and I find the raft. This might be the exact item I need to beat everything else. I breeze through the rest of the dungeon, blow past the boss, and I exit the dungeon confident, ready to test this new item. The first thing I tested on is a small gap of water that's preventing me from getting a heart container. I assume the raft is probably what I need to get across these small gaps, but upon getting there, it doesn't do anything. I have a few other ideas, specifically these docks I talked about before. I go straight north of the heart container onto a dock and it lets me sail across the water. Another dungeon. Okay, it's not a dungeon, but it's still pretty good. And remember, there's the green dock. That might be what I need. After I grab the heart container, I beeline it for the green dock. And this time, it does bring me to something. Level 4. We are officially starting to snowball. At this moment, I'm thinking to myself, I can actually do it. I'm in level 4. I know where level 5 is. I know where level 6 is. I know where level 8 is. The only dungeon I don't know is level 7. And if this dungeon gives me what I need to beat level 5, the rest of the game might be a breeze. After pushing a block a secret passageway opens up. And as I go down the stairs, I see a ladder. Kind of a funky item to get across gaps compared to hover boots or maybe an ability to jump. But I don't care. This is the key that's been missing. This will allow me to beat level 5. And I am now confident that I can beat the whole game. I beat the rest of the dungeon easily. The boss is no issue at all. After beating level 4, it's fairly safe to say I've beaten half of the dungeons, so I can now check that off of my goal list. And I instantly run to grab that heart container, and the ladder works. After grabbing the heart container, I know exactly where I'm going. Run to the top right corner and go into level 5. I've already been here, and I've actually spent a lot of time in level 5, so most of the dungeon is cleared. I just need the ladder to beat a few parts of it. I also already got the item from level 5. So after coming back to the dungeon, I pretty much run straight to the boss. I use the flute, making it vulnerable, and level 5 is done. That was so easy. What the hell? I beat level 3, 4, and 5 all in the span of an hour. And guess what? Now I'm rolling straight into level 6. And do you remember when I said this game was going to get harder? Well, this is kind of the moment. These wizard enemies, which are called wizrobes, are maybe one of the most frustrating enemies I have ever had to deal with in any video game ever. I entered this room with full HP and I died in it.
This dungeon is bullshit. These enemies are actually so dumb. Like, I can't even, like, understand it, bro. Like, okay.
I'm going pee, bro. Because there's just a million of them teleporting around, impossible to hit, do 2 hearts of damage to you. After not even spending very much time in this dungeon, I was just so done with it. I found an old man who gave me a very important clue. He talked about how there's secrets where fairies aren't. And I instantly thought about how there's a fairy fountain, and right next to it, there's another pool of water that looked exactly the same, but no fairies. But I won't explore that until after the dungeon. Doing my due diligence as always, I push something and a secret appears, and in that stairwell, I find a wand. It isn't very helpful, at least like in normal use. It just doesn't really hit enemies and it's kind of awkward to use. So I pretty much just stick to the sword, but I have it. I'm actively crashing out because of how frustrating these enemies are. If I finally make it to the boss, I kind of just start spamming all my items at it. Earlier in the dungeon, it told me to shoot it in the eye, but the bow didn't really work. So then I thought, okay, I'll use the wand. I got it in this dungeon. Okay, that didn't work. Maybe I'll stab it. None of it works. So I take the bow back out and then it just dies in one shot. And just like that, the 6th dungeon was completed. I felt like that was a great spot to leave off on day 3. Going into day 4, my spirits were probably higher than ever. I made an unbelievable amount of progress and I was ready to just continue that. I was thinking there was a chance that I might just beat the game today. After beating level 6, I wanted to see if I could get the new sword. My assumption was it was locked behind how many hearts you had, similar to the Master Sword in Breath of the Wild. After approaching it, I was able to pick it up, but it didn't feel right. I had picked up an extra heart container through information I shouldn't have had. So I decided I wasn't going to grab it until after I beat level 7, which would have been when I got enough heart containers. Using the information the old man gave me in level 6, I go to the fairyless fountain. When I get there, it's not clear what I have to do. Using some of my Zelda instincts, I assume I have to use an item, and the only one I have that really makes sense would be the flute. It works like a charm, and I am now in level 7. Level 7 wasn't nearly as hard as level 6. There was no wizrobes, and generally it's a pretty normal dungeon. And I even got to use my meat. I don't really know. I don't know who I found, but I found someone who was hungry, gave it to him, he let me buy, and I was hyped that my meat investment finally paid off. But I got lost. Like, genuinely lost. Again, I've cleared every room, looked at everything, tried to push a million things, bombing all the walls, and I can't figure out how to progress. After clearing all the rooms I was able to get to, I probably spent 40 minutes just walking in circles over and over and over again, hoping something would change. I eventually get fed up and decide to do something I haven't done the whole time. I bomb a wall that leads to a room that doesn't exist. Keep in mind, the dungeon map reveals all of the rooms. Like, that's its intention, is to just show you where all of the rooms are. And after I bombed this wall and it worked, it pissed me off. What? This room doesn't exist, man. Keep in mind, I have tried to bomb into that room from numerous different sides, and it didn't work. I had wasted so much time in this dungeon, and it felt so unfair. And at this point, after playing for a while now, I was really starting to get fed up with how these puzzles are solved. With how inconsistent the game was, it was really starting to get on my nerves at this point. Like, just look at this boss fight. What the f is that boss even? Like, what even is that, bro? 3 sword slashes from the second sword, dead. Like, what is that? With level 7 completed, I know exactly where I have to go. And I'm expecting level 8 to be the last one in the game.
After beating level 7, the path was pretty clear. I instantly beelined it back to the graveyard to pick up the Master Sword. I actually don't know if it's called the Master Sword, but I think that it's pretty much the equivalent. And I know exactly where level 8 is. So I go to level 8 and it's time to take care of business. Level 8 was honestly not a problem. There were dark nuts and some bigger enemies, but there wasn't anything that was really causing me any trouble. I found a book that kind of resembled a Bible or something, and I have no idea what it does. Looking back now at the guide, it says that it makes your wand more powerful, but at the time I just had no idea what this item did or if there's really any point to it. But like I mentioned earlier, I was just kind of getting fed up with the game and definitely rushing through it. I felt like this was the last temple in the game, so I wasn't really caring about trying to clear every single room. Eventually, without even getting the dungeon map, I make it to the boss. I go through the door expecting Ganon, and it's just a dragon. I run up to it and I face tank it as I just destroy it. And now, going through this next door, this is what I'm expecting. Zelda, Ganon, Zelda, something like that. And it's just another Triforce piece. Wait, what's going on here? I thought I was playing a Zelda game. I pick up the Triforce piece and it just boots me out of the dungeon.
What?
Wait, now I'm lost, bro, because I thought that was it.
I thought that was it. I thought it would be like, okay, like there's Ganon at the end protecting the last Triforce piece.
Is this not the last level? I now was assuming that there had to be another level. As I thought more about some of the other Zelda games, it does make sense to have your Triforce piece fully completed before fighting Ganon. But where is level 9? I'd been around the whole map, so I was pretty confident that it had to be hidden in some sort of way. I spent a lot of time retracing my steps and just blowing up a lot of walls. The two spots I was most suspicious of was the bottom right, because there's pretty much nothing down there for the whole game, and also in the top left section past level 6. I'd explored there before, but there wasn't really much to see, so I was curious if something maybe unlocked in that area.
Looks kind of sus to me, but I think I already... Oh, what the fuck? Oh, hell no! I swear I'd already bombed this, no?
This is probably one of the most bullshit ways to find a dungeon in any Zelda game, and honestly, probably the final level in any game, like, ever. I don't know if in level 8 or 7 there was some sort of hint to lead me to this spot, but honestly, I lucked out like crazy that I was just bombing random things and happened to find it. Going through this level, it genuinely felt unbelievably long. Just so you know that it means business, first of all, it's shaped like a skull, and it's just massive. I mean, it's like an actually unbelievable amount of rooms. The enemies are super annoying. There's Wizrobes, there's Dark Nuts, there's the sucky monsters, there's the skulls that knock you around. It's just super frustrating trying to get anywhere in this dungeon. On top of that, a ton of the progress is locked behind blowing up random walls, and you need like 1,000,000 keys to get through this level. So it created one of the most frustrating cycles ever. The level is pretty far separated from the rest of the map, and it's pretty difficult, so I'm losing my HP a lot, and there's no fairy fountain nearby, and I need more keys that I haven't been able to find. So I have to do this song and dance of try to make progress, get stuck, go back to level 2, farm rupees, which I cap out at 255, buy a potion, buy a key, go back, do that over and over and over again until I can make it further. And at this point, I've lost all discipline. I'm skipping rooms, I'm going into rooms, not seeing something, I'm just leaving them.
I'm just gonna hope that that room is not useful and go elsewhere.
I really wanted to just be done. It's not that the game is necessarily bad, but it's just frustrating, and you know, it's from the 80s, it's outdated. So after going back and forth between level 9, level 2, getting potions, getting keys, I finally found the end of the dungeon.
Oh shit. This is it. He's invisible. What? What is happening? What is happening? What?
That is a sick idea for a boss. It's literally just invisible. I was so excited that I'd finally made it to the final boss in the game. I'm pretty comfortable to say that now. But I was also so disappointed because I just wanted to beat it right then and there. I wasn't sure if I needed a different item or if I just messed something up, so I wanted to give it a few more tries with what I had before throwing in the towel.
Potion. Okay. Maybe with the beam it'll be easier. Well. He's orange. Am I supposed to do something? Bro! Alright, I was confident now. I figured out I can hit Ganon. I just kind of have to guess where he is and recognize his patterns. But with one more attempt, third time is always the charm, I can win and I can finally be done with this game. I couldn't do it. I mean, I don't know. I hit Ganon a million times. I've never seen a Zelda boss with this many phases before. I was fed up. I was at the finish line and I was so close to being done, but I was still missing something. What could I be missing? So I did something I regret. I looked it up. I looked up what I needed to do to beat Ganon. And I had missed an item in level 9. In the room that I had gone into and said, I hope there's nothing important in this room. The item I needed was the silver arrows, or what's, pretty much light arrows from other games. After pushing a random block in a random room, I got the arrows and I went back to Ganon. After making him weak by turning him brown, it took one arrow and he was dead. I'd completed the game, but I was just disappointed. It's not that looking things up is a bad way to play games, but I'd committed to trying to beat this game completely blind, and I folded at the last second. If I was more disciplined and I just kept clearing rooms, checking walls, pushing blocks, I would have been able to complete my goal. I would have rather just never beaten the game than doing it this way. Looking back, I had a lot of fun. I had learned to really appreciate games from a different lens. For most of my life, in a game, if I ran into something that got me stumped, I just looked it up. But what's done is done. I can't go back, I can't fix this. I already know how to beat the game. But I can still learn from my mistake. I did enjoy playing the game blind a lot. And now I know it's not gonna feel good at the very last second to look up how to do it. So in the future, when I do challenges like this where I try to beat a game completely blind, I'm gonna commit to it, even if that means I never get to see the ending.